I'm wondering if you're familiar with Peter McWilliams?
Well, I told you before, yes I am. The man was just a really good man, a hero in so many ways. He was being prosecuted from my standpoint because he stood up, he wrote a book that was used in so many different places, and honestly and regretfully, I think that was part of the reason why he was singled out and why he was punished. And I
yes,
regret
definitely. What are your thoughts on Judge George H. King, the person that actually ultimately sentenced him?
You know, we were talking about this earlier. George King is a personal friend of mine. George was in the United States Attorney's Office with me, and I think he's a really good man and a really good judge. I really do.
It's interesting you should say that because Peter actually said that it was a good judge, bad law. And unfortunately, 12 years later, a lot of people still feel a lot of resentment and anger towards him, which is understandable.
Well, I do, and it's certainly a bad result, isn't it? It's a hideous result. Honestly, though, I raised my hand to uphold the laws of the state of California, the Constitution, and I didn't have to do it quietly. You know, I would enforce the drug laws, but I was vocal against them and how mean-spirited they were, how ineffective they were, but I still have to enforce them.
How many of you believe that the federal government has all the answers? No, I don't think so.
How did it feel to you as a judge to sentence somebody like a Peter McWilliams? How did it feel as you were giving that verdict, knowing deep down it was the worst thing you could do?
I didn't have to do that. I would sentence people, for example, still in California, mandatory minimum sentence. If you're found under the influence of narcotics, methamphetamines, whatever, it must be a minimum of 90 days in jail. So, you know, that's what I would do because I had to. But again, I wouldn't have to do it quietly. And with Peter McWilliams, that would have been a really hard one. But again, George King did what he thought was right under the law.
That's true. That's true. He was only following the law. And even Peter, to his death, respected him, even though he felt it was the wrong way to go.
Well, you just told me that, and that just underscores yet further what a good man Peter was.
Yes, because I'm sure you're familiar with the infighting this movement's having at this point. And Peter, in my mind, I don't think he would be so happy because he would want us all to come together as a whole.
We really must.
Yes.
You know, united we stand, divided we fall, all the rest of that. We're committing suicide if we fight against each other in these sorts of things. Maybe if there's something the matter, then let's fix it after it's passed. But let's not fight and quibble with each other because we're dividing the effort, and that's to our detriment.
Yes, because I've seen a lot of personal attacks between people, and I know that Peter, he would fight tooth and nail, and if he had a problem with you, he'd let you know it, but he would never attack you as a person.
Well, and that's part of our campaign, and I appreciate your holding our Governor Gary Johnson
Of course I am.
banner.
He's a nice man.
Well, he's a good man. He's an honest man, courageous, very successful, and you can look at our website, GaryJohnson2012.com. You can see where he stands. You can agree or disagree. I think people will agree that we are in the mainstream of American political thought today. We're both financially responsible and socially tolerant, so most people are there. But okay, if you don't agree with one or two of the positions, you will at least know where we stand. I think you'll appreciate that.
Yes.
And the important things, I think most people will agree with us.
I think they would too. You know, Peter was a patient, and actually Gary Johnson was a patient.
That's
and
true, too.
He said he almost died because he was in a paragliding accident. He said the cannabis is the one thing that kept him alive. And I think that if Peter were still here today, what would your thoughts be? I mean, do you think Peter would be supporting you and Gary?
Oh, what a softball question that is. You know, I think any reasonable people, unless they are on the dole, unless they are expecting money from the government, I think they will support us. And we are raising people, Julia, raising people young and old to be dependent on the government today, and it simply runs us in the wrong direction. Now, we all know there's some people there that cannot take care of themselves, you know, the mentally ill, whatever, and I believe that we should have a safety net, and so does Governor Johnson. You know, I was in the Peace Corps. I care about people. I will be the first Peace Corps volunteer to be elected to this national office, and I'm proud of that. I'm also, by the way, the only one that's been in the military of the six of us, so I'm proud of that as well. But the difference is, let's have government be the last resort instead of the first resort. And that is an enormous change that we will bring to Washington. We will bring transparency. We will actually stand up against the death penalty, which isn't working regardless of your philosophy.
Exactly.
We are against the Patriot Act, a direct frontal assault on our civil liberties. We are against the National Defense Authorization Act, where you or I, even as citizens, could be called terrorists and detained, namely arrested, held without charges. That is not what the United States stands for. We really will close Guantanamo. So we come at Obama from the left, but we also come at Romney from the right. We really do believe in reduced intrusion and expense and power of government, and the more local government is better. And so
Definitely.
I think most people will support us. It's just a question of exposure, getting that word out, showing that we're viable, getting us in the debates. We get in the debates, I think we have the odds-on chance of winning the election. It's exciting.
What do you think about all these people that feel, oh, he's a libertarian, he's going up against big money, they can't do it, We love to vote our conscience, but we don't feel that there's any chance. So then they end up not voting at all or going for,
sure.
Romney and Obama.
I agree with your first two comments. We are libertarian and we're proud of it, and we are the people that can win this election. The last one, if you're going to vote for the lesser of two evils, and so many people say, I'm going to choose one or the other, we have to end up understanding you vote for the lesser of two evils, you still get evil.
But we need to get the message out because a lot of people still have not heard of you guys. So I'm glad we got Hemp Fest to do that kind of thing.
We're talking to you. We're talking to the media. If people take this personally, if you tell your email friends, your Facebook friends, your Twitter, whatever you are on, take it personally, spread our message. Governor Johnson and I will really meet your demands and expectations. Honestly, this is the most exciting thing that's happened to me since the birth of my children.
Wow.
I believe in this. This is exciting. It's a perfect storm where the people need what we would do and what Governor Johnson has done. They demand it, and we will bring it home.
This is a revolution in the making.
Yes.
I can't see the future. I can see the past, this failed war on drugs. I can see the present, Governor Gary Johnson, Judge Jim Gray, libertarians running for vice president and president. But what I cannot see is the future. But you can see the future. Do you like it? Do you want this to happen? Because it will if you take it personally.
That's wonderful. Well, I'd love to present you with a copy of Ain't Nobody's Business If You Do.
Is that nice?
Which is by Mr. Peter McWilliams.
It certainly is. It certainly is.
And,
this is the Bible to so many people.
Yes. What do you feel about Peter's story? The fact that he was a self-publisher of over 40 books, 5 of them New York Times bestsellers, and he was a productive American. He was a patriotic American. He was a libertarian. He spoke before the party, got their award. I mean, what do you think about his story, knowing full well that all he used was cannabis for medicine and the government just took his life, basically?
Julia, there's some sad things. And when I came out against our nation's drug policies, a sitting judge 20 years ago, which has kind of had me be a clearinghouse for a lot of letters, messages from parents, children, family members, others, and it feels so helpless. But you know something? We're going to bring this home. What Peter did is living on with us today in Hemp Fest. It's living on with regards to these initiatives. It's living on with Governor Gary Johnson and me, and we're doffing our cap to Peter McWilliams, a really, really good patriotic American.
Yes.
And thank you for carrying his torch.
Oh, and thank you for spending time with me to speak about Peter.
Absolutely. Good luck to us all.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Gary Johnson, 2012. And Judd Gray, of course.
Yeah, me too. That's right.
There we go.